Hello everybody. Today we're going to compare two different cases for a Samsung Galaxy S4. We've got the Otter case. This is I believe the Defender series. Not a bad case. And a LiViTech Defender S4 series. They say it's a military duty case. It looks much tougher than this one. But we'll take a comparison between the two of them. I wanted to get a Griffin Survivor case for the S4, but there's not available right now. This one cost me $50 at the AT&T store when I bought the phone, which, you know, I think is a little pricey. This one cost me $14, and it looks much tougher than this one. But we'll compare the two. So let's take it apart, see what we got. Okay, on the left we have the LiViTech, and on the right we have the Otter Defender. The LiViTech is Defender S4 series military duty case and belt clip. It says it's I-95. It says I-9500 brackets S410 black. So they're both black cases. First off, we'll flip them over. And you'll notice that this is a much smaller clip than what we have on the Otter case. The Otter case is an entire back to the phone. So basically, when you flip it over, you have protection on the back and protection on the front against the glass. Okay? You know, I don't know how much of a plus that is, but that is a plus in protection-wise. So let's do the same thing for this case. Take that clip off. Let's put it upside down. As you can see, no protection on the glass on this side. But then again, it's going to be against you anyway. But that feels a little flimsy there. Okay? But I guess if you press hard enough, you could, you know, if you hit it on this side hard enough, you could crack the glass. But I don't know how much of a force that would take. I mean, seriously, we're about, I don't know, 4 or 5 millimeters off the glass there anyway. Okay? So, I don't know if that's a big plus or a big minus. So let's flip it over. And what do we see? Speaker hole, great. This speaker hole actually is somewhat covered with plastic. This one is not. Camera, port there. Camera port here. This one's protected by being recessed in the plastic, but other than that, there's nothing to stop it from getting scratched or banged up if something hits directly on the glass. This one actually has a door on it, a rubber door, which protects it totally. Okay, keeps the dust and dirt out of it as well. All right. Okay, let's take that out. Those two little pieces there. The belt clips come off. Let's see, another function on these belt clips usually. Yep. It will stand on the belt clip this way. I doubt it will stand this way. No, center of gravity is wrong. But it will stand that way. And let me put it into this one. It does as well. Not the same angle, I don't think. Yeah, pretty well the same angle. The other, this belt clip here doesn't feel as solid. The plastic doesn't feel as solid as this belt clip does. This feels like a much harder plastic, much more finished product there. So we'll go there and put this one down as well. And take the clips off, both of them. Now, I don't know if you can notice this yet or not. Take the clip off. There we go. But this rubber here seems to peel off on the Otter Defender pretty easily. Like it doesn't, I mean, you can make it clip into the groove, but it sort of, if you can see, lifts off a bit anyway. You know, it just feels kind of loose on the outside of it. So, you know, that's kind of a minus on my part. That sort of bothers me. Let's look at this one. Much tougher fit. It's similar to a fit that I have on my iPhone 4S Survivor case. It's got a nice grip all the way around the edge. Okay, now side by side, the LiViTech is a little bigger than the Otter. Okay, let's see exactly how much. All right, zero that up. 0. Okay. The Otter is 146.69, and the LiViTech, oops, what happened there? Oh, inches. Let's go. Do that one more time. 149. So it is slightly larger, but what you get, the reason it's larger is because it's got more rubber around the corners and on the edges. So that's increased, as far as I'm concerned, increased protection on this case altogether. Let's see. Turn this up the right way. Okay. Otterbox buttons. So you can see they're just one bar. So it's, you know, you figure out up and down. LiViTech. There's 2 separate buttons. That's a nice feature. The Otterbox protects the speaker by putting this bar across it. This one protects it by putting this bar across it. There is no protection on the bottom of the Otterbox for the button and the glass at the bottom. Here, there actually is, and this actually has a rubber button on it so that your touch can go through that. We'll test that as well. Let's test the depth of the glass to the top of the rubber. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. Okay. So 4.87 millimeters from the top of the rubber here to the actual plastic film. 2.35 millimeters from the top of the rubber here to the actual film itself. So you get an extra couple millimeters of protection here. It's deeper. So the case is going to be wider too, as you can see. Right? It's wider, but it looks way tougher as far as having more protection, more rubber to bounce off if it falls on the ground. Or anywhere else, that is. So far so good. Speaker and on top, and microphone and earphone jack. It's got a little door on this one. This one as well. This one's wide open though, and well, I guess this one is too. So not much difference there. The infrared blaster on this one has an opening. So does this. You know, whether one works better than the other, no idea. They look more or less, you know, as long as the light comes out, who cares? Let's pop the door off the back here. Pop the door out. By the way, this is, you know, obviously not a real phone. The door comes off fairly easy, and it attaches and holds onto the plastic on there too. So put that back on. Buttons on the side, we've got that. Buttons on that side. Same thing again. This case here reminds me of the Survivor, the Griffin Survivor case, and this obviously just reminds me of all the Otter cases. It doesn't seem to be as protective of the phone as the LiViTech. This one was $50. This was $14. So, you know, you can judge on that. Let's peel the plastic, the rubber off. There we go. And let's take this one apart too. No, I like how hard it is to take apart. There we go. Yeah, very similar to the Griffin Survivor. Okay, so that pops off. I'll take the paper out of it. What do we see? Well, we see a little cushion here. As you can see, it's a totally different design. I'll put a little bit of water on that, I think. Yeah. And, oh, okay, sorry. There's a protective film on this. I thought it had water on it. It'll just peel off. I'll peel it off before I'm done. So, again, we get front faceplate with plastic hooks all the way around. Nice features. Plastic casing with foam protector on the inside, and as you can see here in the center, a little button to help you push out the the foam when it's in there. So I'm assuming it's going to be a tight fit. Rubber all the way around, peels off. There we go, with it peeled off. That plastic looks nice, looks high quality, fairly stiff. I'm going to take this cover off here, which is going to take a special tool. I'm going to use my small, well, these are called spudgers. It's a phone tool. Basically, it'll unclip this without breaking it. You could use something else, but it just works for me. There we go. And obviously, it's a little harder to open than the LiViTech case, which is a plus, I guess, or a minus depending on how often you open it. But I figure harder to open means harder to come apart if it falls. Okay, so there's the top case, top cover, and the other top cover. Not much difference really, except for maybe more protection around the speaker and the bottom button. Okay, and there's the star of the show, the Samsung Galaxy S4. We'll put it in here, and somehow it just goes down in. There we go. Obviously the power button has gotten hit somehow. And down we go into the LiViTech. Okay, so right off the bat, it's recessed into the case. Okay, let's see if I can show you that. See that? There's a certain amount of, quite a bit of protection around the corners. That's what makes the actual case a little bigger. Okay, so we'll put the top. I'm going to take the protective cover off of that. Okay, I got the protective film off of it. And I'm going to put it back together here. Make sure I got it right. Button on the bottom. There we go. Oh, first we got to put the rubber on it. Put it in its rubber casing. I like that. I get a good bite on it all the way around. I like that. I like the snug fit and the good grip it gets on it. Oh yeah, battery charging port too, covered. It also is on the Samsung. Sorry, on the Otter case too. Okay, got a snug fit on the rubber all the way around. Okay. So, right off the bat, I noticed a few things. Number one, the clarity on that top cover isn't as nice as it is on the, well, actually it's pretty close to the same as it is on the Otter case, so that's nice. It seems to bubble up a little bit, and there seems to be a few surface scratches that I can see, and I don't have that with the Otter. So, there we go. Now we got great. The button seems to respond really nicely. See? Yep. Go that way. Yep. Volume seems to respond nicely on the side. These are always found hard to get, even on my Survivor case on my Griffin, but you get better with practice. There we go. So nice protection all the way around. It's got a nice feel to it. Like I said, the plastic on the cover appears to be a little bit off the glass, which is kind of annoying. But other than that, I don't see anything wrong with it. So I'd say with this review that you get what you pay for. This is $14. The Otter is $50 with all the hardware. The clip definitely looks a little tougher than this one. Okay, it's thicker plastic, hardier. I think it would survive more than this one will. But the protection, the rubber protection on the LiViTech is pretty good. I mean, it reminds me of a Griffin Survivor. Now, I would have bought a Griffin Survivor for this phone, except it's not available. So, for the price, $15, I don't think you can go wrong. Okay, it's been 24 hours, and the Samsung Galaxy S4 in the LiViTech case has been in my wife's hands for approximately 24 hours. And what we've more or less determined, and I've determined here, is that it looks more like a Griffin knockoff than an actual really tough case. It's actually, the plastic and the rubber surrounding it looks great, and it works, functions properly. What she really likes is the buttons on the sides actually make really good contact, and so does the home button. But what she doesn't like is this. See that? The Mylar film over top of the phone, it bubbles off the top, and that makes it hard to navigate the phone. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that film off, and then I'm going to put the Iloome or Iloome ScreenMate Tempered Glass, the 9H Tempered Glass Premium Screen Protector, and I'm going to put it in place of where this is. Then I'm going to put this cover, this plastic cover, back over it. Maybe in the future I may also seal it with silicone around the edge, just to make it that much nicer, to keep the dust off the underneath of the plastic. But I don't think that's really all that necessary, as if you take it apart once in a while and clean it. So, pluses. The case is really rugged. The buttons on the sides work great. The home button's great too. It's deeper than the Otter case, but if you can't stand the fact that the Mylar stands off the screen and that it doesn't have the same kind of feel to it as the Otter Mylar, which is perfectly flat and has a really nice feel to it, probably because it's flat onto the screen, then this case is not for you. This is, if you look at the Griffin case, Survivor series, which is not available yet, it looks identical. Hopefully their version will have a piece of Mylar that's flat. But I think my solution of putting the Iloome 9H ScreenMate on top of, underneath this plastic cover, and removing the plastic cover from that frame is a much better solution. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this cover off. There we go. There we go. Now once again, see if I can show you that. Basically it's got a bubble to it. The Mylar bubbles up. So I don't know if that was because it was placed incorrectly, not sure. Okay, but I'm going to cut the glass, the Mylar off this frame, and then I'm going to put the ScreenMate on that, on the Samsung, and then I'm going to put the empty frame over top of that, and that should make that phone virtually indestructible. Okay, so I just started peeling the Mylar off the top like that. And as you can see, the adhesive wants to hold, which is good. And that's it. Off it comes. You take off the excess silicone they used here. So I might keep that on there, I'm not sure. Helps seal the phone up. Looks good. Now that it's an empty frame. Next, I'm going to clean this off and apply the 9H ScreenMate. And I think at that point I will have created a different type of case that's next to bulletproof. Okay, so after cleaning that screen off really nicely underneath, there is a couple of buttons that come with it. I don't think I'm going to need them because this case actually has a button on it already right there. Okay, and I believe it'll poke through it. If not, I'll put the button on. I'll show you that as well. So let's put the phone back into its protective case. It goes in there really nicely. Actually, if you do it right, it goes in really nicely. Bottom first. You can see right there in the center, it's got a squishy spot. You can use that to squeeze the phone out when you need to get it out. But it sits in there really well. Let me clean off any of the dirt that's on that glass. I still have a little bit there, bubbles, but I'm going to squeeze them out too. They all come out pretty nicely once you put the alcohol underneath. It was a trick and a half, I got to tell you that. Okay, there we go. Bubble free. The dust off of it. Okay, so last but not least, I'll put this cover on it. And we'll see how that functions. The button functions. The home button, that is. Okay, sorry about all that shaking. Okay, I got a little bit of adhesive coming out from the edges there. I'll get that off. Not a big deal. Okay. Get that adhesive off. Well, I'll pull that off later, but basically here's the finished product. We have the LiViTech Defender Case. I'll put a link for it. The Iloome glass on top of that, or Iloome, and no plastic on top of the phone at all, but we have an H9 hardness cover on it from the Iloome. So there's the finished product. Home button works just fine. Side buttons, don't believe will be a problem. Let's see. Yeah, no problem at all. It all fits. And there's a super tough case with a super tough glass protector on top. And the glass protector covers everything. That is beautiful. That's the way your phone should be protected. So we have an H9 hardness ScreenMate on there, H9 tempered glass, and the LiViTech what's it called? Defender Case, which I will post a link to, together with the bad Mylar that they had on there taken off, now with a much better protection on it on top. Okay, thanks for watching.